guys, it's Noe. Wanted to take some time and do a video this evening to kind of talk about how just our situation has been and what that's been like for me, and like being able to reflect back on all that we have accomplished in the last few years. So you know, recently we celebrated our anniversary. We've been married for 7 years. We've been together for 8 years. And when I look back and think about everything that we have accomplished in all of that time, it's like we got together. When we first met, I hadn't started grad school yet, so I started grad school. We found out we were having, that we were going to have a baby, so then we decided to get married sooner than, because we were engaged, found out that I was pregnant, then we just planned on getting married the summer earlier instead. So then we got married, we sold a house, we had the baby. We were in a situation where we had to move to New Mexico. Well, we made the choice, but it was kind of a forced choice. So we moved to New Mexico. Within 6 months of living there, we bought a house, you know, and really did what we could to make sure that we could get roots there. And then we had another baby, and, you know, life had kind of settled in, and then fate had it different for us. And so then the whole journey of coming to Seattle was put before us, and we made that journey. And so, you know, hang on. So, you know, and then coming to Seattle, you know, we thought that we would live in an apartment and we would get a house within a year. And that proved to be somewhat of a struggle. I mean, and honestly, like, I really felt really down, and got to the point of, you know, dealing with my anxiety, but then if my anxiety gets out of whack, then that's when depression kind of kicks in for me. So there are moments of just despair of like, how are we ever gonna get a house? How are we going to do this? It just didn't seem like it was going to be a reality. And all the time, like, Hershel's telling me, like, we're going to do this. We're going to do it. We're going to have a house. And then I don't even really know how it all started, but for some reason, you know, we started thinking of looking south. And so, you know, we discovered Tacoma, and we spent a lot of time kind of exploring the area and the other cities around it and stuff. And we really came to like Tacoma. So, you know, we had started a process, I guess 2 years ago, of looking for a house and buying. Our house in New Mexico was supposed to sell, and different circumstances kept coming up, and the people that wanted to buy it just were not in the situation that they could at that time. So it was kind of like, you know, a door would close, and then we would just hope that, you know, a window would open or another door would close. And so we just finally kind of took a step back and said, okay, we just need to kind of lay low and figure things out and strategize better. And so, again, I was feeling like we're never going to do it. And like being priced out of the apartment, I mean, that we weren't yet, but the way they raise your rent every year, it's like that was going to become a reality. And so it was like, well, where do we live? And so we were considering a couple of options. We were considering moving. We were considering looking at, there's Hersh. We were considering looking at, you know, renting a house. We were also in a process, right before we started looking for this house, we were in a process of going into property management. And so working with a company in which we would be living in an apartment complex and be the on-site managers. So collecting rent, keeping up the maintenance, not like going in and doing plumbing and stuff, but like keeping up the grounds, submitting work orders and that kind of thing. So that was something that we basically had an offer on the table to do, but then everything started going through with the house. So we were like, well, let's follow this house thing through, because ultimately that's what we wanted. And, you know, a lot of struggle, a lot of praying, a lot of positive thoughts out to the cosmos were sent out there, and just, you know, and just really hard work was put in by both of us, and as well as, the people that were helping us get the housing, our realtor and stuff. And what seemed like was not going to be a reality turned out to be our reality. And despite the fact that our house in New Mexico still did not sell, we were able to work it to where we could still get an additional loan because we have renters in the house. They offset the mortgage. So it's, we have two different mortgages, but they were able to address the fact that we have rent that covers the mortgage. And so thankfully, we were able to get this house. And so it's crazy when we take the time to sit back and reflect that, we have lived in the Seattle area for the last 3+ years. It is the most expensive market that we have ever lived in. It's one of the most expensive markets in the country right now. And the fact that we were able to really put our noses to the grindstone and make having a house a reality for us. I'm not trying to say that I don't know what I'm trying to say, but sometimes it takes this time, this moment of reflection for me to understand that when you're in those moments of despair, that if there's somebody telling you that, hey, it's going to be okay, or hey, there is a way out of this, or hey, there's a brighter day, there's a better light at the end of the tunnel, whatever it is, sometimes you just need to quiet your own voice and be able to accept that brighter voice and accept that vision. I am so thankful that I have Herschel in my life, that he can be that voice for me, because otherwise I would be kind of the Eeyore in life of oh bother, nothing's gonna pan out. We're gonna be priced out. We're not gonna, we're gonna have to figure out where we go and all of that. And we really didn't want to have to move into another renting situation. We really wanted a house to be able to set our roots down and to say, this is where we want to be. And we didn't want to have to, we even contemplated, do we move back to a cheaper market? We still own a home in New Mexico. Do we just say, hey, we want our house back? Or do we go and build a house on family land in Kentucky? Those were all things that we were throwing out in the course of house hunting and being discouraged. But Herschel was able to keep a level head through it all, and really helped me get through that and see that, hey, this is a reality and that we're going to make it happen. And so for those of you that may be struggling with whatever situation, if you have somebody in your life that is that voice of reason when you can't be your own voice of reason, listen to that, pay attention to that. Also, anything worth having is worth working for, that's definitely something that I firmly believe in. We have not been handed anything in our lives. Everything that we have is because we have worked for it, or we have been resourceful to find ways of getting things. Everything always on the up and up, but we have, I've shared with you our Buy Nothing group and a lot of the great things that we have acquired through that community. It's just finding what is going to work for you and finding the ways, the steps that you need to do to take to get to your ultimate end goal. So, if you're struggling, try to find that voice of reason. Hopefully you can find some inspiration from our videos and our struggles and the situations we've been in and gotten on the other side of, but also that things have to get tougher before they get better. Again, some of these things are cliche, and you may be yeah, I hear that all the time, but just knowing that and understanding that's the experience that I've lived in and the experience that I've been through, that me not feeling we're gonna find a way to make it happen, Herschel telling me yes, and then we work. Not just that it's handed to us, not just that it, is by pure luck. No, it's by the skin of our teeth and the sweat on our back. A lot of sweat equity has gone into this as well. And a lot of gray hair equity too. But again, I firmly believe, things happen for a reason, and things happen when they need to happen. So if there's something that you're working for or something that you're wanting in life and you're asking for an answer and you're not getting an answer, sometimes that is the answer. And so sometimes you just need to reevaluate of like, what is it that I really need in this moment? Also, sometimes things just take longer. Things are on a different timeline. And so things happen when they need to happen. And like there were several things that kind of went into play for us that, well, yep, that had to happen in order for this to happen. And so there are sequences to things in life that you may not be aware of in the moment, but hindsight is 20/20, and you're able to look back and reflect and be like, oh, I get it. I see that now. So anyway, so that's it for now. Again, just kind of wanted to reflect on the experiences that we've been through and the journey that we have made as a family and as a couple, and the decisions that we've had to make that kind of got us to this point where we are proud owners of a home here in Tacoma in the Seattle area. And hopefully sometime next year we'll be able to make a video of when our house sells in New Mexico. But if not, as long as we still have our people that live there and pay rent, like, you know, great. We have property in New Mexico and we have our home here, and all is taken care of. So you know, if you are in need of inspiration, if you have questions, anything that you might need advice on, feel free to comment below. Share this video if you think it'll help any of your family or friends, and subscribe to us if you haven't already. We so appreciate the support and love that we get from all of our subscribers. And we do obviously read every comment that we get and message that we get, and we want to make sure that we put the effort out there to interact with all of you and respond back to you when you take the time to respond to us. So anyway, hope you guys are having a great day, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.